funny man, Adam Carolla, is not holding back in his new book, I'm Your Emotional Support Animal, Navigating Our All Woke, No Joke Culture. We sat down with Adam to find out what this all means. Hi, Adam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me,
Oh,
Danielle.
yeah. Absolutely. And, I know that comedy draws on what's happening in the world, but you're diving into some highly politicized topics here. So I want to start with the book. What does it mean when you say I'm your emotional support animal?
I'm basically saying I will take care of you through this journey, this dangerous journey that's not actually dangerous, like commercial airline flights. Actually, maybe people should bring an emotional support dog now on after COVID-19, but this thing called navigating this all woke, no joke world, I will be your Sherpa guide.
Well, what kind of world is that? What's going on?
Well, it's a world where if you have an opinion that goes against some of the mainstream opinions, you could have a difficult life. Your life could be made difficult. I'll give you as clear an example as I can think of to illustrate this. I have 14-year-old twins. My daughter is very progressive. My son is very conservative. So one is progressive, one is conservative. We live in Southern California. They go to a public school. We don't talk to my daughter about being careful what she says and who she's in front of when she says it. But we do talk to my son about being careful about what he says and who he says it in front of, because we don't want him to be ostracized or lose friends or, possibly beat up. So it's a pretty basic example. They're twins. They go to the same school. We live in a nice neighborhood, and one of them we give the speech to, and the other one we don't say anything to.
I never thought about it that way, especially with young kids now. You said that you fear that for his safety, maybe. So what do we do about it? I mean, is it kind of like, the conversation that we hear, like Black parents telling their children how they should, deal with police? Like, what do you do about it?
It's funny. It is a very first world, rich, whitey version of that conversation parents have to have with their Black young kids. It's like, I have to have it with my rich white kid about saying anything good about Trump. I don't want him to get beat up, So it's funny that we're like simultaneously having these two conversations in this nation in 2020. The only cure to this is people standing up, not apologizing to the herd or the crowd, and not taking a step back and just saying, these are my opinions, I'm sticking with them.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the documentary, No Safe Spaces. I mean, it kind of tackles that whole idea of not feeling like you can express your opinion without some kind of backlash. Why was that a project that was important for you to take on?
Well, it's funny. Everyone always sort of wants to ascribe an importance to something, but it's funny. It's like people would say to me, why did you do Dancing with the Stars? And I'd go, because they asked. Somebody came up to me and said, do you want to do this documentary with Dennis Prager? And I said, okay. I like Dennis Prager, and I agree with the subject matter. So, I wish I had a better answer, that I'd been watching, the landscape and which way the wind was blowing, and I didn't like the direction this nation was going in. But really, someone just called me up and said, "You want to do this?" And I said, "Okay." I'm glad I did. I'm proud of the product, but sometimes things are simpler in nature. And sometimes it's just somebody asking you and you saying yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and take care.
I shall. Thanks for having me.